Alright, so let's start talking about section 1.2, linear measures. This is where we start getting more algebra, kind of back into geometry. Just when you thought algebra was gone, now it's in geometry as well. So, first one, we have a definition called betweenness. C is between A and B if A plus C, or AC plus CB equals AB, if and only if A, B, and C are collinear. It sounds really confusing. Basically, it means C is between the two other points. You have three in a row. This segment here, add up to the whole thing. That's essentially what it means, is that the two little segments, you put them together, makes a big segment. That's really all it means. This starts to get confusing, and this isn't a typo. You will see this a lot. IFF is abbreviation for if and only if. If and only if is, it's 4 words. We like to write 1. So we're going to abbreviate it just to make it that much simpler. So let's start this. Okay, L, M, and N are collinear. If they look like they're on the same line, they are on the same line. Go ahead and assume that. All right, so we need to find LM. We need to find this missing length here. All right, so LM is, we don't put arrows above it, or letters, or I'm sorry, a line or arrows above it when we're talking about the actual measurement. If the entire thing's 4, the part that's not LM is 2.6, 4 minus 2.6, 1.4 centimeters. You just got to subtract. All right, find X and ST if T is between S and U. All right, so in order to draw our picture, this is the part we need. T is between S and U. All right, so if I go and draw a line, switch that back. T is between S and U. Since it says T is between, this one's T. Let's call that S, call that U. ST is 7x, SU is 45, and TU 5x minus 3. Now, because it's between, we know that the two small segments add up to the big segment. Seven x plus 5x minus 3 equals 45. So essentially what we've got, we have ST, we have TU in blue, and they add up to the entire thing. So when we go and combine the 7x and 5x, we're going to get 12x. Got to add the 3 to both sides. I'll show all these steps later on as we go through this year. I'm going to start skipping steps because this is stuff that we've done for a while now. You did it all last year in Algebra 1. You're going to see this over and over. You're going to start getting more and more comfortable with it. 12x equals 48. You got to divide, so you get x is 4. All right, we got x is 4. Now, one thing that geometry does more than anybody, more than any other course in math, is it asks 2 questions. Find x, did that, but then it also says, what's ST? We got to find ST. So, ST is 7x. So what we're going to do is we're going to take x, plug it in, and get 28. So essentially, what we're doing is we're getting 2 answers. X equals 4 and ST is 28. That shows up a lot on quizzes and tests where you do all this work for X, but then there's one extra little step that you need to do in order to get credit for the question. All right, let's try again. Find the value of X if C is between A and B. So let me get my pen, draw a straight line. C is between A and B. So C is in the middle. And when I say in the middle, I'm talking in between. If it was exactly in the middle, it would say halfway between or is the midpoint, meaning it's exactly in the middle. So we got AC is 3x, CB is x squared. Hopefully you guys love factoring as much as I do because you're going to have to here. All right, we know the 2 small segments. And hang on a second, I'm actually going to switch those around. X squared plus 3x is equal to 54. All right, now, because I have x squared, got to get everything over to one side. X squared plus 3x minus 54 equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to factor. We did in Algebra 1 a method called AM method, where you look for something that adds to 3, and they both multiply to -4, or -54, excuse me. So, x squared breaks apart to x and x. We need two numbers that multiply to -54 that add up to 3. If you need practice with this, we list out all of our factors. Sometimes you'd see 1 and 54, 2 and 27, and so on. Eventually you'll get to 9 and 6. 9 minus 6 gets me 3. So we got plus 9 and minus 6. Now, there was a new step that we did right after that called zero product property. Which basically said take everything, set each product equal to 0 to get your answers. Subtract 9 from both sides here, you get x equals -9. Add 6, you get x is 6. So now I got two answers. Which one's right? You got to look at it. If I were to take 6 and plug it back in, 3x, that's 18, x squared, that's 36, 18 and 36 add up to 54. But if I take -9, something funny happens, and it actually isn't going to work. If I take -9 and I plug it in here, 3 times -9 is -27. I don't know about you, but I've never seen anything that measures -27. If I was walking, you know, someone asked how far did you walk? Oh, I walked -27 feet. It doesn't happen. It's positive in a specific direction. So what we need to watch out for is, do my answers create a negative answer that shouldn't be there? So my one correct answer is x equals 6. But now it says, just double checking, I don't have to find something else like I did in the previous example. Alright, so now let's talk about the idea of congruent. Alright, congruent is the same thing for line segments as it is for numbers. Alright, saying x equals 4 is what we do for numbers. When we talk about line segments, line segment AB, remember line segments don't have arrows. Oops, what happened? Line segments don't have arrows because they stop at A and at B. Instead of saying they're equal, we say it's congruent to BC. Now it looks similar. It's an equal sign that has a little squiggle on top. But congruent is talking about the actual physical shape, that if you were to take two straws, lay them one on top of each other, that they are identical in shape. When you measure them, saying one is 4 inches, the other is 4 inches, that's when you use an equal sign. So it starts to get a little bit confusing. But as we go through, anytime we use a symbol, meaning line segment, we're going to use congruent. All right, so let's take a look at this. Find x and st if t is halfway between. So I've got the word halfway right now. Okay, so draw this out again. S and t is halfway in between. So what that means is that st is the same as tu. Because it says halfway in between, line segment st is congruent to line segment tu. So, one mark that we're going to do, anytime we have line segments that are congruent, we actually put a little mark on them in the same color, same type of mark, meaning just one mark here, to show that they're the same. Alright, so st is 7x plus 24, and the entire thing is 18x. Now, in the previous examples, I was given everything. I'm not given tu, but since these two are the same by this blue mark that I have, I know that both of them are 7x plus 24. So I have two 7x plus 24s. This one right here, and then this one also is 7x plus 24. Since they're both 7x plus 24, I'm just going to multiply it by 2 and then set it equal to the 18x. So I'm going to take this 2x, distribute, or the 2 and distribute. You got 14x plus 48. I'm sorry, that's messy. Let me do that one more time. That's not right. Let's try again. 14x plus 48. I think this is a good time to mention how important it is to always double check your work. As you're going through solving, we're getting to 48 equals 4x. And we're going to take 48 divided by 4. And you got x is 12. Alright, now since x is 12, I need to find st. So, st is 7x plus 24. I've got 12, so I'm going to plug in 12 here, plus 24. Just to be safe, use your calculator. Make sure you're not making any silly mistakes. Those do happen pretty frequently. When you work this out, you're going to get 108. And so remember, as you're going through, draw a picture, label it, fill in everything in the picture, then set up your equation based off the picture. It's very hard to set up a picture or to set up an equation off of a sentence, and it's very easy to make a mistake. Use the picture to help you. Draw as many pictures as you can going through the entire unit.